Welcome to CX Foundations. It is one of the most impactful training sessions because every single person shapes how customers feel about us. Before we dive in, I want you to think of one customer experience, good or bad, that you personally remember. It could be a restaurant, an airline, a call center, a shop. Hold that moment in your mind. We'll come back to it. We're going to cover 6 key modules: what CX actually means, the 5 pillars that make it exceptional, how to map the customer journey, how to capture the voice of your customer, how to measure success, and the do's and don'ts every team member should live by. By the end of this session, you won't just understand CX. You'll know exactly how to apply it tomorrow morning. Let's get started. Here's what we'll cover today. Module 1 sets the foundation. What is customer experience, really? Module 2 introduces the 5 pillars every great CX organization is built on. Module 3 gets practical. We'll walk through journey mapping, which is one of the most powerful tools in your customer experience toolkit. In Module 4, we look at the voice of customer, how to listen to customers, and, critically, what to do with what you hear. Module 5 covers the 3 big metrics: NPS, customer satisfaction, and CES, and how to use them. And Module 6 brings it all together with best practices and our knowledge check. Great, let's go. Now let's start with the most important question. What is customer experience? Most people say it's how we treat customers or it's customer service. Those answers aren't wrong, but they're incomplete. CX is the sum of every interaction, every feeling, every memory your customer forms about your brand, from the very first time they hear your name to years after their last purchase. Look at the 3 cards on the left. CX has 3 dimensions: perception, how the customer feels at every moment; journey, the complete path they take with you; and emotion, the memory they carry after every interaction. If you forget the emotional dimension, you'll build processes that are efficient but forgettable. The pyramid on the right shows the layers of CX. It starts with your brand promise, what you say you'll do, then product quality, service delivery, emotional impact, and finally loyalty and advocacy at the top. Notice that each layer depends on the one below it. You cannot earn loyalty if your service delivery is inconsistent. Think back to that memorable experience I asked you to hold in mind at the start. Which layer of this pyramid did it touch? Was it a broken brand promise? An emotional surprise? A service delivery failure? Exactly. And that's why CX isn't a department. It's a discipline that runs through every layer of your organization. I want to spend a moment on the business case, because this is the conversation you'll need to have with your managers if you want to invest in CX improvements. Let's go through these 4 stats. 89% of companies now compete primarily on customer experience, not price, not product. Think about what that means. If your CX is average, you are already falling behind the majority of your competitors. The second stat stops people cold. It costs 5 to 7 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. If your churn rate is high, no amount of marketing spend will save your growth targets. Retention is the most cost-effective growth strategy you have. Third, $1.6 trillion is lost globally every year due to poor customer service. That's not a research footnote. That's your revenue walking out the door with every frustrated customer. And 86% of buyers will pay more for a better experience. CX is not a cost center. It is a pricing premium and a competitive moat. And look at the revenue growth data. CX leaders grow at 17% annually. Industry average is 9%. CX laggards? Just 3%. That gap compounds over time. Over 5 years, the difference between being a CX leader and a CX laggard is enormous. This is why we're all here today. The numbers are unambiguous. Every exceptional customer experience organization I've encountered is built on 5 pillars. Remove any one of them, and the entire experience becomes unstable, like a table with a missing leg. Pillar 1, reliability. This means doing what you say you will do, every time, without exception. No caveats, no excuses. Reliability is the foundation of trust. If customers can't predict how you'll behave, they won't trust you. And without trust, there is no loyalty. Example of this. Think about a courier service. If your parcel arrives on the promised day every time, you barely notice. But the one time it's late, you notice immediately. That's the asymmetry of reliability. You get no credit for consistency, but you get punished heavily for failure. Pillar 2, empathy. This is about genuinely understanding how your customer feels, not just what they need. The best frontline people in any industry can step into a customer's shoes and make them feel heard, not just processed. Pillar 3, responsiveness. Speed matters. In a world where customers can get answers from Google in 0.3 seconds, waiting 2 days for an email reply feels offensive. But responsiveness isn't just about speed, it's about being proactive. Don't wait for customers to complain. Reach out before problems escalate. Pillar 4, personalization. Generic experiences feel like nobody cares. When a brand remembers your preferences, your history, your name, that creates a connection. Personalization doesn't require expensive technology. It starts with frontline staff paying attention and using the information they already have. Pillar 5, consistency. This is often the hardest one. Delivering a great experience once is relatively easy. Delivering it every time, across every channel, every shift, every region. That's what separates truly great organizations from the average. Keep these 5 pillars in mind as we move through the rest of the session. You'll see them show up in every module. The customer journey mapping is one of the most powerful tools in CX, and one of the most underused. A journey map forces you to walk in your customer's shoes at every stage of their relationship with you. Let's walk through the 5 stages on this slide. Stage 1, awareness. This is the moment a potential customer first learns your brand exists. Your touchpoints here are ads, social media, word of mouth. Your job at this stage, spark curiosity. Not sell, just make them want to know more. Stage 2, consideration. Now they're comparing you to alternatives. They're on your website, reading reviews, perhaps requesting a demo. Your goal here is to build trust. This is where your content, your reviews, and your responsiveness to questions do the selling. Stage 3, purchase. The transaction moment. Every point of friction here, a slow website, a confusing checkout, a long queue, increases the chance of abandonment. Your goal, remove friction. Make it effortless. Stage 4, onboarding. This is the most overlooked stage by most businesses. The moment after purchase is when customer anxiety is highest. Did I make the right choice? Will this work for me? Your job, ensure their success. Welcome emails, set up support, check-in calls. These make the difference between a loyal customer and an immediate cancellation. Stage 5, loyalty. You've earned their trust. Now reward it. Loyalty programs, community access, exclusive offers. These transform customers into advocates who bring you new customers for free. The goal of journey mapping is to make the invisible visible. Once you can see where customers struggle, you can fix it. The voice of customer, or VOC, is the systematic process of capturing what your customers think, feel, need, and expect. Not what you assume they think, what they actually tell you. There are 4 main methods shown on the left. Surveys and polls, post-interaction CSAT surveys, NPS scores, quarterly relationship surveys. These give you quantitative data at scale. Fast to deploy, easy to analyze. But be careful, survey fatigue is real. Only ask what you're prepared to act on. Social listening, monitoring mentions, reviews, and conversations about your brand online. This is unfiltered feedback. Customers say things publicly they'd never say in a survey. Tools like BrandWatch, Sprinkler, or even Google Alerts can capture this. Focus groups, smaller, qualitative, in-depth conversations with real customers. Expensive and time-consuming, but irreplaceable for understanding the why behind quantitative data. Behavioral analytics, click maps, session recordings, funnel analysis. This tells you what customers do, not what they say. Often there's a gap between the two. Someone might say they find your website easy to use, but their actual browsing behavior shows they get lost every time. Now look at the VOC action loop on the right. This is the critical framework. Listen, analyze, act, validate, share. 5 steps. Most organizations are pretty good at listen and analyze. They run surveys, they look at the data. But here's where they fail. They don't act. They collect the feedback, file the report, and nothing changes. Customers notice. And when customers tell you about a problem and nothing happens, they feel disrespected, not just ignored. The validate step is equally important. Measure whether your action actually worked. And share means communicating results back to your team. Showing them that feedback leads to real change creates a culture of listening. Now think about the last piece of customer feedback your team received. Did it result in a visible change? If not, why not? That's the gap this module is asking you to close. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. Let's talk about the 3 metrics that define CX performance in most world-class organizations. Metric 1, NPS, Net Promoter Score. One question, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or colleague on a scale of 0 to 10? Respondents who score 9 or 10 are promoters, loyal enthusiasts who will grow your brand. Scores of 0 to 6 are detractors, unhappy customers who can damage your reputation. You subtract the percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters to get your NPS. Why does NPS matter? Because advocacy is the most powerful form of marketing. A customer who recommends you is worth more than any advertisement. Benchmark. World class is above 70. Above 50 is good. If you're below 0, more customers are damaging your reputation than promoting it. That's a crisis. Metric 2, CSAT, Customer Satisfaction Score. Measured immediately after an interaction. How satisfied were you today? On a 1 to 5 scale. It captures moment-level satisfaction rather than the overall relationship. You report it as the percentage of respondents who rated 4 or 5. CSAT is brilliant for spotting specific touchpoint failures. If your NPS is high but your checkout CSAT is low, you know exactly where to focus. Metric 3, CES, Customer Effort Score. How easy was it to get help today? Scored 1 to 7. This is based on a landmark finding. Reducing effort is more predictive of loyalty than delighting customers. Research shows that low-effort experiences drive 96% of customers to repurchase, while high-effort experiences drive 81% to share negative feedback. So if you want to build loyalty, make things easy. Every time a customer has to work hard, repeat themselves, navigate a confusing IVR, wait on hold, you are eroding loyalty. The key insight, use all 3 together. NPS for strategic health, CSAT for tactical improvement, CES for process optimization. Now let's get practical. On the left, 6 things that drive exceptional CX. On the right, 6 habits that destroy it. I want to go through both sides and have you mentally score your team on each one. Do number 1. Resolve issues on first contact. Every time a customer has to contact you twice about the same issue, your effort score plummets and your trust erodes. First contact resolution, FCR, is one of the highest leverage metrics in any service operation. Do number 2. Personalize every interaction. Use the data you have. Know the customer's name, their history, their preferences, even small touches. I can see you've been a customer for 3 years. Let me make sure we take care of this quickly. Transform a transaction into a relationship. Do number 3. Set and meet SLAs. Don't promise a 24-hour response and deliver in 48 hours. Underpromise and overdeliver every single time. Do number 4. Close the feedback loop. When a customer tells you something is broken and you fix it, tell them. Send an email. Post a notice. Customers who see that their feedback led to change become your strongest advocates. Do number 5. Empower your frontline people. Nothing frustrates a customer more than an employee who wants to help but doesn't have the authority. Give your team the tools, training, and trust to resolve issues on the spot. Do number 6. Map pain points proactively. Don't wait for complaints. Analyze your journeys, find the friction, and fix it before customers notice. Now move to the don't side. Don't number 1. Make customers repeat themselves. This is one of the most universal complaints, calling back and having to re-explain the whole issue from scratch. A CRM that captures context solves this. A culture that values handover quality solves this. Don't number 2. Use scripted responses. Customers can tell. A canned response signals that you haven't actually read their message. Train your team to respond to the specific situation. Don't number 3 through 6 follow the same logic. They all come down to treating CX as a department problem rather than a company-wide culture. Every person interacting with a customer influences the customer experience in some way. We've covered a lot of ground today. Let me walk through the 6 most important things I want you to leave this room knowing. Takeaway 1. CX belongs to everyone. It is not a help desk function. It is not a marketing message. Every department, finance, logistics, tech, HR, contributes to or detracts from the customer experience. Own it. Takeaway 2. The 5 pillars are non-negotiable. Reliability, empathy, responsiveness, personalization, and consistency. If your team excels at 4 but fails at 1, customers will remember the failure. Consistency across all 5 is the goal. Takeaway 3. Journey maps make the invisible visible. You cannot fix what you cannot see. Build the habit of looking at your processes through the customer's eyes, not the organization's. Takeaway 4. Listening is only valuable if it leads to action. Close the loop. Show your customers and your team that feedback creates change. That culture of responsiveness is your most powerful CX differentiator. Takeaway 5. No single metric tells the full story. Use NPS, CSAT, and CES as a dashboard, not as individual report cards. Trends over time matter more than single data points. Takeaway 6. Start today. Don't wait for a system change or a budget approval or a new initiative. Pick one friction point you identified during today's session and commit to improving it this week. These commitments are your CX action plan. Hold on to them. Great, congratulations. You've completed CX Foundations. That's not a small thing. Most organizations talk about customer experience. You've just invested time in actually understanding it. Thank you.